everyone, it's Katrina with Sacktown 5. I'm here on the Capitol grounds in Sacramento with Assemblyman Rob Bonta. Thank you so much for having me again. We are super excited to be sitting here, and we're talking a little bit about the fact that you have taken on some of the really hot issues that not only we're facing here in Sacramento, but statewide, as well as nationally. These are, on the forefronts of the news. Celebrities are talking about it. There are activists that are taking it on. You are taking on criminal justice in California. And I want to really dive right in really quickly, talk about the actual law that was passed, and that's 1793 that came out of your office. Tell us a little bit about that. How did it, get brought up, and what's the passion behind it when it comes to your vision?
Yeah, thanks. Well, first, thanks for the time and to be able to talk about this, Katrina. Really appreciate it. There's just so much we can do to make our criminal justice system more just. It's fundamentally broken in so many ways, and we're working on a number of areas where we can really make some significant improvements and really add value, have big bang. And one of those is around expungement and reductions to individuals, Californians' records, where there has already been a vote by the people, like Proposition 64, that specifies that certain individuals are eligible for this expungement or for this reduction. The expungement means completely wiping the criminal conviction from the record. The reduction is reducing it from maybe like a felony to a misdemeanor. And there's so many barriers to these individuals who have the substantive right given to them to actually realize that right and have the benefits of that right. They, right now, based on prior to AB 1793, under current law, they had to first know that they were eligible. Second, go through an application process, pay fees for either fingerprints or filing fees, maybe take a day off of work to go to court.
Right.
If it was challenged, they'd have to maybe get an attorney. So all these barriers that we saw led to so few individuals actually getting the benefit of what Californians had voted for and said that you should be able to have. So we just thought, what is government's role here? Government should help. Government should make this easier on individuals. Their job should be to bring the substantive right closer to an individual. And one of the original inspirations for this idea was talking to a criminal justice and public safety roundtable, where an individual said, why are all these barriers out there to folks getting the benefits of these expungements and reductions, and can it be different? Can it be better? And we put our thinking caps on and came up with that.
Process.
It's about the process.
Right.
And so now, basically the government does it for you. DOJ runs a list of all eligible crimes and then presents them to the district attorney, who has a right under Prop 64 to object if they wish. They'll do it very rarely. And then if the district attorney doesn't object, then sends all of those eligible convictions to the court, who will reduce them or expunge them. And the person might not ever know about it until they get, figuratively, a letter in the mail that says, you now have this criminal conviction is no longer on your record.
Well, the reason this is so profound, and we have been covering this with 1793 a few times, both with our California cannabis lobbyist Amy Jenkins on the Capitol grounds, as well as a few times, because it's in the cannabis space. It's a hot space. Cannabis is already a hot space in California. It's something that obviously the regulations just came out. Then you tie into it the actual criminal justice aspect of it. There are people who've gone to, jail for having cannabis on them or marijuana on them before, or it's on their records, and it's impacted their lives in various ways where they couldn't get jobs or other things that have occurred in a negative way that's impacted it. So there's an empathy aspect to it that I'd love to cover as well. And so in your office, and I know legislators only get a certain number of bills that they could be part of and so forth. With a roundtable, when you touched on that earlier, is that a process that you take on a regular basis when you want to take on a major issue like Assembly Bill 1793? Was that a process that you do for all your bills when it's in the criminal justice space or a profound space, or is that something that just happened to be?
We don't necessarily, we didn't look for AB 1793 to come out of this discussion. We sought out these engagement meetings and discussions with folks just to listen and learn and co-create solutions and hear about problems in our community from leaders who work every day on these issues, and to give them a connection to their legislator to help craft solutions to make our community stronger and to create more justice. And so it just happened to come out. But so many of the bills that I've carried have come out exactly that way, through the process of the engagement, through listening, through hearing our leaders out about what they need and what's broken and what can be fixed and how we can fix it. And so
empowering the communities to get involved.
Yes, I mean, and now there's a community that says we had this problem, we flagged it, we shed a light on it, we talked to our legislator about it, and now it's fixed.
Right.
And now, this whole social justice component of cannabis is so important to me, and one of the reasons I've gotten so involved in it. You know, that it was a failed war on drugs,
right.
And people were hurt and treated unfairly, mostly communities of color, and now
our district's been hit. Heavily,
very
because
hard.
There's a very diverse community that you represent,
In the East Bay.
and that's the voice that you're representing. So it makes a lot
Absolutely.
of sense in that. What do you expect to come out of 1793? Because there is a deadline from what we understand, July, to be able to, I guess, pinpoint the people who've been impacted and reach out. And it's almost a proactive approach, which is, to be quite fair, a proactive approach coming out of government is not common. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful manner, but that's why it makes it extra unique.
Yes.
Me. And it's something that, again, going back to empathy, it's about time. But it's a different approach. And so what do you expect will come out of 1793 when it comes to the July deadline, I believe it is?
Yeah.
And how is that going to affect someone's life in a positive manner, finally?
Well, first on your point about government, we want to change the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
We think that it's sad to me that people don't expect solutions like this to come out of government. It's exactly what we should be delivering, bringing people closer to their rights, helping them, supporting them along the way. So we're happy to be changing that narrative with this, and we think we can actually build it into other areas beyond Prop 64, like Prop 47, another proposition that reduce crimes for individuals under certain circumstances. What I think will come out, I think people will have greater access to housing. Mm-hmm. People will be able to get jobs that they had that there were barriers for them getting before. People will be able to access student loans that they were prohibited from getting because they had a conviction on their record. Parents can take their kids on field trips now where they couldn't because of these convictions that don't have to be on the record but still are, because either they don't know or there's too many barriers to them enjoying this right that Prop 64 provides. So in short, we're going to bring more justice to more Californians with AB 1793.
Well, it's very fitting of California to be that progressive in the space, and it's good to see that there are legislators who stand up for that. So thank you for your efforts on that, and also for this law, because I think a lot of people are starting to learn about it and appreciate it. So stay tuned. We will be covering a lot more around 1793 as the year goes by, and we're getting our arms around what it's going to do to California and to our communities. Again, tune in. Make sure to add and follow us on Sacktown 5.